You meet someone new. They say their name, and seconds later, it's gone. Not almost gone, completely gone. And you hate that feeling, because it makes you seem rude, uninterested, careless. But what if it's none of those things? What if forgetting names actually says something deeper about your brain? Psychologists have studied this for years, and the conclusion is surprising. People who forget names easily are not less intelligent. In many cases, they are the opposite. Their brains work differently, more selectively, more efficiently. Your brain is not built to remember everything. It is built to prioritize, to filter, to choose. And names often don't make the cut. Because a name is abstract. It carries almost no information. It doesn't tell you who the person is, what they do, or why they matter. So your brain asks one simple question: is this useful? And if the answer is no, it lets it go. Not because you're careless, but because your brain is optimizing. There's a concept in psychology called cognitive load. Your brain has limited capacity at any moment. It chooses what deserves space. People who think deeply, who analyze constantly, who observe everything, often overload their working memory. They notice tone, micro-expressions, behavior, subtle signals. Others miss. And while they process all of this, the name gets dropped because it's the least informative piece of data. There's also attention distribution. Highly analytical people don't just listen. They evaluate, they predict, they interpret, they run simulations in real time. And when someone says their name, your brain is already busy doing something else. So the name never fully registers. This is not forgetting. This is not encoding. It was never stored to begin with. Psychologists call this a failure of encoding, not memory. And it's extremely common among intelligent individuals. There's another layer: emotional filtering. Some people are more sensitive. They read energy, vibes, intentions. They care more about how someone feels than what they're called. For them, names are secondary. Connection is primary. And that changes. What the brain keeps, history gives us. Interesting examples. Even brilliant minds struggled with names. Scientists, writers, thinkers, people who changed the world, often remembered ideas perfectly, but forgot names constantly, because their brains valued meaning over labels. There's also the role of anxiety. When you meet someone new, your brain goes into evaluation mode. How do I look? What should I say? Am I doing this right? And this internal dialogue consumes mental resources, leaving less space for memory. So again, the name doesn't stick. And ironically, the more you worry about forgetting names, the worse it gets. Because anxiety reduces memory performance. It narrows focus to survival, not detail. Another factor: information overload. In modern life, we meet more people than ever before, offline, online, through screens, through content. Your brain adapts by compressing information. Faces stay because they matter. Names disappear because they don't. This is efficiency, not failure. There's also a neurological angle. Some people have stronger visual memory. They remember faces instantly, but struggle with verbal labels. This is a known pattern. Your brain favors images over words, so you recognize someone immediately, but their name feels unfamiliar even if you've heard it before. And here's the most important part. People who forget names often remember what truly matters. They remember how you made them feel, what you said, what kind of person you seemed to be. They remember patterns, energy, behavior, not just labels. Because labels are surface, but perception is depth. So no, forgetting names doesn't make you careless. It might mean your brain is tuned for something deeper, for meaning instead of form, for connection instead of labels, for analysis instead of storage. But there is a trade-off, because in social life, names do matter. They signal respect, attention, recognition. And that's why, even if your brain doesn't prioritize them, you can train it not by forcing memory, but by adding meaning. Repeat the name, attach it to something familiar, visualize it, use it. In conversation, create a connection. Because memory is not about repetition, it's about association. No meaning, no memory. And once you understand this, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself. You start understanding your mind. Because forgetting names is not a flaw. It's a side effect of how your brain chooses what matters.